Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name's Mike Amos. This is Forrest Lee sitting next to me. And of course, we're coming to you live on Troy Cablevision on our studios on South Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama. And you can watch us on Facebook this morning and throughout the country, and whether it's in the states or out of the states, live on Facebook this morning. And of course, we're getting very excited about football. The Auburn Tigers get going first, and of course they play the. They're ready to go here. What about? Well, evidently he's not ready to go. But we've got a
open up versus Mercer, the Bears.
That's right. They go up against the Mercer Bears, and I was on my way to a venue in South Carolina during the spring, and Mercer had just got through with spring practice, and they've got real good facilities, and it's a beautiful school, but it's not near what Troy is. But
is that Macon or?
That's in Macon, Georgia. Macon, Georgia, is a pretty big town now, and it's growing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, that's where my mother graduated from.
Yeah, I got you. Auburn Tigers getting ready for the 2002 football season. They go up against the Mercer Bears whereabouts in Georgia they're located? Macon, Georgia, as Auburn gets started early, and everybody's excited, I know, over on the plains, and they're excited about their coach's second year. And I know everywhere with college and high school football, and we've got a big football game this weekend, Forrest.
We got one tomorrow night. Pike Liberal Arts will travel to Highland Home to take on the Flying Squadron. It is a jamboree. Also, the Ayrton Purple Cats will travel to Crenshaw County as well to take on the Brantley Bulldogs right there on 331. And both of those schools are probably, I could pull it up in a minute, but I believe they're posted in the top 10 preseason. They've already released their top 10 preseason polls. And Brantley, I believe, is listed as number 1 in 1A. And Ayrton is probably the top 10 in 2A. Coach Kilcrease and then Coach Jones. Coach Kilcrease at Ayrton and Coach Jones at Brantley. And then our new coach at Pike Liberal Arts will take his step. Travis
Baxley.
He's the new head coach at Pike Liberal Arts. And as they travel to Highland Home, their coach is Wes Pouncey.
Talking about Coach Baxley, and it's his first head coaching experience, but he has worlds and worlds of assistant coaching experience in the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and he's been in some good places. And the place he found to be the first place to be his as a head coach, he's Pike Liberal Arts, and I know they're excited over there.
And tonight, Mike, on the campus of Pike Liberal Arts, there will be Meet the Patriots. You can meet all the fall sports teams: volleyball, cheerleading, pee-wee football, of course, varsity football. That will start at 6:30. They're encouraging everyone to bring tents and set up and cook out and all that. Welcome to Today in LA. It's the Mike Amos Show.
Morning. And this is Mike Amos coming to you from.
Right, we had good morning. How's the girls are up and going? Up and going?
Yeah, we got Mary Prater. She's already headed off to kindergarten, and then I'll take Millie here around 8:30.
Mike, yesterday I could tell it was a real experience, not only for your little first grader, but fifth. Well, she's actually in the fifth. She's a first grader, and I know that's exciting for her, but also exciting for you, and because you've got a kid going to a big school, a big big school.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mary Prater went there last year, so I mean, I was there to pick her up yesterday in the carpool line. It was absolute chaos. How many parents were trying to get in there and pick up their kids? Luckily, I got there really early, but I heard that some parents had to wait about an hour to pick up their kids yesterday.
Oh, boy.
You know, at Troy Elementary, when I was teaching there, parents would line up about 1:30.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be parked outside and won't pick their kids up at 3 o'clock. They want to be first.
John Key, Dr. John.
Hey, how about this? I was there at 1 o'clock yesterday, and my daughter doesn't get out till 2:15.
Oh.
I guess you do the work, carry your laptop.
Yeah, you're
got
right.
good coverage.
Yeah. You're
Yeah, I can actually do all my ordering and all my text and all my communication.
Yeah.
You got a nice smartphone, you can do everything.
Well, I tell you what, we're getting excited around here. Our first telecast of the season from Troy Cable will be the Pike Liberal Arts Patriots against Highland Home, and they're gonna treat it just like a regular game, but it'll be a jamboree game. It will not count on their schedules, but I tell you this. Pike Liberal Arts will learn a lot about its program, and what they pretty much have got to do to be competitive this year because of a real tough schedule.
Yes, and then Ayrton, they're traveling to Brantley tomorrow night as well.
And let me say something about it. Brantley, had the great, and he's tearing it up over at Troy University right now, Tucker Kilcrease, but. I'm sure Brantley's got a good replacement. They just
well, last year, if you remember, Mike, Tucker got hurt during the mid part of the season, and they had a freshman to start at quarterback, and they didn't miss a beat.
They did miss a beat. You're
and
right.
I think he got banged up in the playoffs, and that quarterback had to come in again. But he's a good player.
But
think of his last name.
But let me tell you this: me and Bill Rice went to see Arrington play, and they've got a young quarterback that's really good, and I want to say he was just a sophomore. I think he'll be a junior this year, and they're going to be very good again, coached by a young man named Kilcrease, and Stephen Kilcrease, who coached at Pike Liberal Arts years ago, and won a couple of state championships there at Pike Liberal, but now he's at Arrington.
Yeah, I was watching Alabama was posting some stuff yesterday, and Coach Saban had all the freshmen, all the junior college transfers, all the transfers in the indoor practice facility, and they're all lined up, and they brought in the $1 Million Band.
Oh, boy.
And he was teaching all the new Alabama players how to learn and sing the fight song.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you saw where Jojo Earl broke his foot.
Yeah, I read that. I mean, he's a guy that was injured last year, so I mean, it looks like he's kind of injury prone to start his Alabama career.
So will he miss the whole season?
He'll miss 6 to 8 weeks, they think. Also, some breaking news at Wake Forest. Their star quarterback Sam Hartman, who's a fifth-year junior, he will be out indefinitely due to a non-football related medical issue. He sought medical attention this past Tuesday, and the results of testing has forced him to leave the team indefinitely. So,
boy.
He recovers from that.
And he's a great, and I tell you,
Wake Forest put up huge numbers last year on offense.
Yeah, I want to say they averaged right at 50 points a game, which I think was tops in the whole country. I think. Well, next to Western Kentucky might have,
Kudos to Coach Summerall and his staff. I saw where a lot of football players were at the elementary school opening doors yesterday for kids.
Oh, boy.
That's awfully special, too.
How about a new concept that has started in the South, and Troy University has it? Coach Summerall and his staff met. They now have a reefer trailer that they can bring down to 20 degrees
Oh,
all the
yeah.
way to
Oh, yeah.
0. They
Yeah.
dry the kids off best they can. They walk the football
right.
team through there, and it brings their body temperature
Yeah.
down. And he feels like that will help them, or has helped them, cope with some of these, heat-related issues that you have in football this time
You know,
of year.
I've been there.
So they've got a reefer
yeah.
truck.
I've been
Big
there
old
and
18-wheeler.
saw them go through up close the other day, and what this it doesn't completely eliminate it, but I would rather go through this mechanism than to have to walk into the ice. You know, they had an ice poo that they were sending them through. And I think I'd rather walk through this than go in that ice pool.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to January when the Pike County Habitat for Humanity, Pike Troy Habitat for Humanity has their polar bear plunge. I've been in 3 of the 4, and so I'm going again. I hope I'll walk in this year.
Yeah.
Jumping.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I thought about doing a plunge in Lake Tahoe when I was out there in late June. The water was 54 degrees, but it looked so crystal clear. I told my wife I kind of wanted to get in it.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sitting here, brought my paper and didn't even bring it in. I'm going to have to get out and get it in a few minutes, but to see how everything is going.
Brett Favre has come out with an article there talking about concussions and CTE and the NFL. Brett Favre claims now that he's sustained thousands of concussions.
Not thousands, I don't think.
If he's saying thousands of concussions, he will not live another year probably. That is a lot of concussions.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, your poor old daddy suffered a bunch of them himself, trying to hit with his head and everything. And I stopped having headaches, but for 20 years I had migraine headaches, that I'm sure attributed to football. I'm sure, but I haven't had them. I haven't had them in years either.
You're starting to see a lot of guys retire a lot earlier in the NFL. You don't see guys playing 18, 20 years anymore. Most guys are cutting it short after about 10 to 12. Even DeMarcus Ware, great Troy player, future Hall of Famer, he cut it short at 12. He could have definitely had a couple, at least 2 or 3 more solid seasons, and probably would have had, come close to being one of the all-time sack leaders in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, I know it. He did leave early. You're right.
Well, they put that extra padding on during practices. I know the big-time college programs do. I guess that helps a little bit with it. But
have you seen Troy University? They all wear that thing on the helmet. You're right.
the padding thing.
Yeah, they wear the shield.
Yeah, and it's.
But one thing that I have noticed, college players especially lately, you need to wear your mouthpiece and put it inside your mouth and clamp down.
Yeah.
That is the number one preventive maintenance technique that a person can do to prevent concussions.
Yeah.
Now imagine, I've done this before. I put a helmet on, not have a mouthpiece, and just pop myself on the head. It hurts.
Yeah.
But when you got that mouthpiece in and clamp it, and you hit yourself on the head, you hardly can tell it because you're contracting your head muscles, and that's part of the
I wonder if these kids
protection. It's
understand.
not for teeth, it's for concussion. And
I
you
wonder-
see these receivers, and defensive backs running down the field.
Nobody wears knee pads.
Oh,
I tell you what, and that ought to be mandatory too. I looked at Troy the other day, and they had a lot of kids with their knees without protection.
it's about all of them.
Mike, before we got going this morning. There's a article out about Troy's scheduled non-conference opponents for the next 5 years, and of course this year is Ole Miss and Army are two teams that are two of those teams. And then in 23, Mike, they play at Kansas State, and then they travel to Army. So next year, that'll be a good experience. And going out we've been out there. That stadium's not the prettiest in the world, but they're a pretty good football program. And then 24, Memphis comes to Troy, and so does Iowa. The Hawkeyes come to Troy, Alabama, Mike. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. You're exactly right. We play at Iowa, So,
Yeah, that would be an amazing game to go to. That's where they have the famous children's hospital.
Right.
ESPN's done a lot of shows about.
at Iowa University.
Yeah, the kids at the children's hospital actually can wave to the fans from their rooms, and the fans do a wave and like a salute to all the kids in the children's hospital.
Isn't that wonderful, boy? What that'll be fun to go see.
You know, you went to Iowa State. I know. I didn't make that trip. Detroit played at Iowa State. Never played Iowa.
Yeah.
I guess maybe Detroit played them in baseball. I can't think of basketball.
Of course, they're a good football team, and they're not considered anybody to get down on your knees for. But
Kurt Ferris must have pictures of some of the higher ups or something, because he kept the job for a long time.
Yeah, he sure is.
Like 20-something years.
At Iowa, yeah. But then
Troy football surpassed over 10,000 season tickets sold yesterday, so that's good.
That's really good. It sure is. At Clemson in 25, we play at Clemson, and then Memphis.
Great trip to Clemson. If nobody's ever been to Clemson before out there listening, great bucket list trip.
Yeah, and then also they play Memphis at home that year in 25, and in 26 they play Brigham Young comes to Troy on the in 26, and that's 5 years from now. But it is scheduled.
Director Homa's daughter works for the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
In Alabama. She was on our show.
Listen to this though. In 2016, and we were talking about this earlier. We play Brigham Young in Troy, and then the next week we play Mississippi State in Troy, and then play at Missouri.
Oh, that's at Mississippi State.
I don't know when they play at home to Brigham Young, on the road at Mississippi State, and on the road at Missouri.
Of course, none of these contracts are binding. You know, like Brent Jones mentioned on the show, that they can get out of these contracts if they would like to.
Yeah.
So we hope these games will happen. We're not 100%.
Well, right now they're scheduled.
Yeah, BYU will be in the Big 12 conference. Then there'll be a Power 5 program as well. So that's a Power 5 program coming to Troy.
And Mississippi State come to Troy on in 2007. Well, 2007.
Well, you know.
No, not 2007. I mean 2027, I guess.
Well, let's see.
You know, Auburn,
that's
South
right.
Alabama has landed on their future schedule in 2025.
Good for South Alabama.
South Alabama.
Somebody.
And so that's good for them. And, but you know,
Auburn's played everybody. Auburn's played South Alabama. I guess will be the first time they played Jacksonville State. They played Alabama State numerous times. They played UAB. They played Stanford. They played them all.
Yeah. What is it going to? And in fact, I was in Ozark and talking to one of our state senators and about why don't he put something up and put a push for Troy, Alabama to play Troy in football. And
you're going to make them play UAB every year. You're going to make them play South Alabama every year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, you know.
And
now that North Alabama is making the jump, aren't they?
Well, they're already 1AA.
yeah, but I hear them trying to make the jump to 1A.
They're going to try to join Jacksonville State competition.
Yeah, I don't know. That would probably be what they would be looking at.
Well, Johnny Williams, the UNA grad. I'm sure if anybody can help him get there, he could.
No question about it. He's helped Jacksonville State get where they've got. Now, I promise you.
I wonder if UNA still has that 4 line living on campus. You know, they have like a line.
Oh yeah,
Like LSU had that Bengal Tiger.
I sort of doubt it, but I could be wrong. You know, that's a lot of upkeep right there.
Yeah, I remember that, going by there and seeing that line when I was a kid. I think LSU still has the Tiger.
Yeah. Well, tell us what's going on, Forrest Lee.
mentioning Troy University.
Is Post 70 starting today for us?
They do. They do. Let me pull that
The
up
World
here.
Series, American Legion baseball.
There's 8 teams from around the country that will be playing. Let me pull this out. You've got 2 divisions. Each division has 4 teams. The Stars division, American Legion teams from Virginia, Michigan, Nebraska, and Idaho. And Idaho Post 56 is the defending champion.
Uh-huh.
All right, in the Stripes division, you have Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, Camden, South Carolina, League City, Texas, and Troy, Alabama. Today at 10 o'clock, Chesapeake, Virginia plays Michigan. Troy will play at 1 against Shrewsbury, Massachusetts today at 1 o'clock at Keeter Stadium in Shelby, North Carolina. And you can go to live stats, and I think you can get the app. Go to the AmericanLegion.sportingin.com. I'll put in American Legion Baseball, and it'll go all to the links that you, it can give you updates of stats.
Now, it won't show, well, is there a possibility that some of it will be televised?
I think it will report that it's going to be on ESPNU and some of those channels. But you can log in. I didn't do it the other day. I just looked at the live stats. I wasn't going to try to get it on my computer. Troy plays today at 1 o'clock, and then Post 70 of Troy plays tomorrow at 7 o'clock against Camden, South Carolina. And then we don't play on Saturday. We play on Sunday at 1 o'clock against League City, Texas. And the unique thing about it, after those 3 games, there's tiebreakers. Head-to-head competition, fewest runs allowed, most runs scored, or coin flip. But the 2 top teams in each division will advance to the Final Four. So if you finish runner-up in your division, you are still in it. So you're guaranteed 3 games.
That is wonderful.
And so they start today at 1 o'clock. So good luck to Troy as they play Shrewsbury.
Coach Ross Hickson has done a tremendous job with this program. Really has. And, of course, we've got football tomorrow night. Is that right? Tomorrow night is from Highland Home. The name for that stadium, you call it Down in a Hole. It's a beautiful place, and
I like when you drive in from Lapine. That's how I go. I go through Lapine, and as you come in, you see the lights. Boom! All of a sudden, you see that big press box, and those fans are full, and you can park there on the right and walk in on the visitors.
And they're building quite a program at Highland Home, the Flying Squadron, and Pike Liberal Arts coming off of 2 state championships in a row in class in the private schools. Now they are reaching up and grabbing a hold of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and this will be the first actual football game, even though it doesn't count on the schedule. But it'll be the first time Pike Liberal Arts has played a public school.
Well, it'd be neat if they could play.
I tell you what, I would like to go to Shelby, North Carolina, watch some of these baseball games. Today it's going to be 83 as a high, low 66.
Wow.
Tomorrow will be 85, low 61.
Yeah, gosh.
On Sunday it'll be 83, low 61. So it's going to be a low 60.
I'll tell you what, if anybody wants me to ride with them, just come by and see me, and I'll get in the car with you, and we'll go to that game, those games.
Yeah,
I would love to go to that. I really would.
Yeah. You know, their assistant coach, we mentioned that the other day, is DJ Law from Rehoboth. He helps Ross coach.
He sure has built a program at Rehoboth, I tell you.
Yeah, there's 3 players from Rehoboth on the team, and good luck to.
So Troy put on full pads yesterday, didn't they?
Well, they didn't even practice yesterday.
Yeah,
they had yesterday off.
They're back at it at 9:30 this morning.
Yeah, Mike, I had a great visit the other night. We have our annual Crenshaw County Alumni Association had their kickoff every year. They have a big party at the home of
Hal and Nancy Williams.
And,
She was a Duff from down there around Thomasville, Grove Hill area.
That's right, yeah, beautiful
Hal,
lady, beautiful
Hal and
lady.
Nancy.
And Hal and Nancy are huge Troy fans, and their daughter was there to make it even better. And of course, they've got that barn there, and it is just fabulous. And we were able to talk to some of these coaches, especially the golf coaches, and the new softball coach. I tell you what, he very impressive. He had just won a championship at AUM, and Troy just goes and scoops him up, and now he is the head coach of the very promising softball program at Troy University.
Right, you got the golf coaches, the men's coach is Forrest Schultz.
Yep.
Is it Randy Kick? Is the women's coach?
Yeah, and he was there too, and he's quite a personality.
He can, but the new softball coach is, I believe, Eric Newell.
That's it.
He came from AUM. And speaking of softball, Mike, they announced yesterday that Anna Shelnut is the new assistant coach. She played at Florida State, won a national championship. She was the catcher during that College World Series run that Florida State won in 2018. She belted 5 home runs and scored 15 runs in the postseason. She's a native of Franklin, Georgia, which is north of LaGrange.
That's right.
And she led Heard County to its first state championship in 2014. But her previous job, she was an instructor at the Champions Fast Pitch Academy in Marietta, Georgia, that puts out, produces pitchers.
And if you don't have pitchers, you don't have much of a softball team.
So that's some exciting news for Troy softball. Miss Anna Shelnut.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I guess Johnson is back, and several really good players are back, so they should be really good. I'm sure they'll bring in some possible transfers from AUM onto the roster too.
I talked to him, and I was very impressed with him. He's a very sharp individual, and let's just say this, it's going to be a great hire on down the road, and I could see him building our softball, Troy University softball, to national.
Troy doesn't even charge for softball. Isn't that a free sport to go watch?
Yeah, that's right. But I could see him starting to charge because it is really quite an event. I watched them play Auburn, and there were at least 1,000 people at the game, and kids from all over, and from Auburn and for Troy, and it's a great place to watch a softball game from that facility.
I'm excited to see what the schedule looks like, and volleyball. Troy volleyball's running the corner too, and I think they play soccer in the fall.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Something that's made, Mike, I don't know if you've noticed it or not, volleyball a much greater event is this flooring that they put down. Are you familiar with it?
I have not seen it.
It's just like a huge mat, but it's set up just for volleyball, and it really makes it a lot better. It really does. It gives you a much better view of the games. And I tell you, a volleyball match is exciting to watch. It really is.
And my guess, starting next week, when volleyball season starts for the local high schools here in this area, Charles, Henderson, Pike County,
and
Goshen, and Pike Liberal Arts. So they'll start volleyball, I believe, next week.
Squeal week.
When does Troy University start?
They open up next Wednesday, isn't it? What is it? What do you got?
Well, the school is. I'll look up volleyball here in a minute.
I was wondering when do the students start?
They open on 17th, the 17th of August. And
I told my wife I'm a big fan of starting on a Wednesday. I said I don't know if we could have handled the whole week of starting the field. It's a lot easier when you.
but I tell you what, and it's always a big party on the first couple of days before school starts. It's always a lot of fun. The band is here already in full strength because I was eating at the cafeteria yesterday, and the marching band has already hit the field, and they had a huge rainstorm yesterday that held them up a little bit, but hey, you could hear them all over town. You could hear the sound of the South, I can walk out my back door and can really hear them.
This Sunday at Trojan Arena, there's going to be a big event. I think they call it the Convocation.
There'll be
a
right.
guest speaker. Several people are going to speak. I think the band will be there. Coach Sumrall's going to lead the new students in the fight song. That's this Sunday on the campus of Fort University.
And I look forward to that.
The Trojan Arena.
I look forward to that every year because, like you said, the sound of the South will be inside of the Trojan Arena. And now you've heard them on the outside. This opportunity gives you to hear the sound of the South on the inside, and it's a sound that will blow your top off, I tell you. And but like you said, Parson, I'm glad you did it. This is the freshman orientation. It's where the freshmen they're all excited, and they'll all be in there. Now Saturday is Squill Day. And that's where the sororities, and I'll tell you that.
It's probably about 10 o'clock in the morning, I believe.
All right.
It starts
Now,
9 or 10.
And I know you've been to many of them too, Forrest, but let me just give you a little idea. All the sorority houses, all these girls get in the middle of so they can run to their sorority house, and they set up and go to 3, 4, 5, 6 sorority houses, and when they call the kids the girl's name, she goes running to her sorority house, and it's really a spectacle because it's so much excitement and so much pressure and going on in rush. And now they have picked their sorority, and they're running to their sorority, and their sorority is running to them. If it don't put chill bumps down your back, and that's Saturday morning at 10 o'clock.
I guess that's when it's going to be. It's usually 9
you're
or
right.
10.
You're
right.
right.
When Abby went through, the gymnasium across the street, that's where they had all the
That's right.
rushies,
That's right.
They had them there, then they grouped them. Hey, y'all were in this one, this one, this one.
Yeah, that's right.
But, there's a process of how, you got to downsize. And,
but
I think each sorority is going to average between 35 to 45 girls.
Yeah. Well, in fact, it's going to be a big rush, and it's a positive thing at the university. If you want to get out there and feel good about things, but like the cows are way over there, isn't that right?
They're on the front. Well, see, A.O. Pies is down the road near the lagoon. Their house is there. But
that's right.
It's Chi Omega, then you have KD, then you have AD Pi, then you have Phi Mu, then you have Alpha Gamma Delta, then A.O. Pi is down the road near the softball
That's right,
field.
yeah. And
they had to be tough when they decided who got the houses that was former Baptist Children's Home. Because some of those houses were big 2-story, huge houses.
Yeah.
It had to be a couple of them were single stories. I imagine that was a lot of bickering going on.
It had to be a draw. It had to be a draw of the straw with the number. And I really don't know. But the Panhellenic director is Dr. Patterson.
Yeah, and let me tell you this. She has done a wonderful job for the last 30 years here, Troy, with the sororities. And it takes a special person to do that.
And I believe the men's director is, golly, just lost my.
And I'm hoping that the men, I hope that they'll be.
Used to be Herb Reeves, wasn't it?
Well, it was Herb, but Dindy Mosley.
Oh yeah,
Dindy.
Dindy, yeah.
And,
he's a big Sigma Chi, so I imagine Sigma Chi will get whatever they want.
Probably get more scrutiny, but that's a tough job too. And but
he works for one of the great men in Troy at Troy University.
He's under Dean Reeves, I believe.
Yeah, and of course, you know, it's exciting times, and you know, it looks like a large enrollment. You know, from where you look at it with Rush and so forth.
I'm always trying to figure out what is Troy's enrollment now. You don't really hear. I mean, I know COVID factored in a lot. I mean, the last enrollment I heard was the biggest was a couple of years ago when it was like around 8,000. Is it 8,000 now?
No. I think we'll be lucky to make 7,000. I would think. Now, I'm just sort of guessing here, but 8,000 would be a record enrollment. You know, we're on campus now. Listen, you know, you've got Phoenix City, you've got Montgomery, you've got Dothan campuses. And then the Fort Walton Beach, Florida, Northwest Florida campuses. So when they look at the total enrollment, Mike, they throw in these branch schools. So they could have maybe 15,000, in between 15 and 18,000, something like that. I'm guessing.
Yeah. I mean, Troy's got to be the smallest school in the Sun Belt, I would think, enrollment-wise.
Yeah, on campus enrollment-wise now, if they figured it out other end, we probably would be in the middle of the road, probably, maybe even upper two or three.
You know, it's hard to believe when you look at like Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern's got like 23,000 students.
I know it, yeah. And
Texas State's got about 50, don't they?
Yeah, that's a huge school. You know, Georgia Southern didn't have anything until they started football. They had about 4,000 or 5,000. They had a good baseball and basketball program. But you know what? Look at it, Mike. When they started back, you had Georgia Tech and Georgia, and then no other school. But then here comes Georgia Southern. Here comes Florida. Well, in Atlanta. What's the school in Atlanta? Yeah, Georgia State. Playing football, and now Mercer's playing football.
If you want to go to Georgia State, you're going to school in downtown Atlanta.
Kennesaw State has a team now.
And
But you were mentioning there something rang a bell to me. Georgia Southern. You know, Jody graduated from Georgia Southern. We get their alumni magazine. We get Troy University's magazine. We get University of South Alabama's magazine because that's where I got my master's. But Georgia Southern broke ground on an indoor practice facility.
Oh boy!
This past spring.
Yeah, it's important to a lot of
It's big.
Yeah, and of course, you know, Troy is one of the things I'm sure on the list of things to do, and the baseball complex is really looking good, and it's going to be a beautiful place. They didn't go for large capacity. They'll look up around 2,000 to 2,200 people can watch a baseball game in chairback seats.
And then you're going to have some skyboxes. You're going to have a few of those luxury seats, if that's what you want to call it.
You're exactly right. That'd be wonderful to be able to go to the game and eat at the same time.
Well, I think another thing you mentioned when you said Georgia Tech, you know, that the actual first weekend of football is going to be the 28th.
Yeah.
But that next big weekend when everybody plays, that Monday night, I believe Clemson and Georgia Tech play that Monday night.
Yeah.
And then that Sunday night.
LSU and Florida State it's the only game on Sunday.
And then, but Georgia Tech and Clemson will play. Will that be at Georgia Tech or will that be in Clemson on Monday?
I think that was Georgia Tech. I'll have to go back and look.
Yeah.
You got preseason NFL football tonight. If you want to have a lot of fun, bet on the NFL preseason football. You have no clue.
Well, what channel is that, Mike?
The Giants and the Patriots tonight will be on the NFL Network starting at 6 p.m. The Giants are a 3-point favorite. I think Mac Jones is not going to play. I think they're sitting him out. Titans also will be playing tonight against the Ravens. The Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite at home.
What about the Browns? You say the Browns were playing. Are they going to play Watson? You know,
the Titans and Ravens are tonight with the Giants and the Patriots tonight. There'll be more games on Friday, and then more games on Friday night. The Browns will play. They say they're going to start Deshaun Watson, and you know Goodell has come out now and wants to Watson suspended for the whole year, so I don't know who's the quarterback for the Browns.
They need to make make a decision on that. The Buffalo, one of your favorite teams for years was the Denver Broncos. And Denver Broncos got a new quarterback that just changes everything. And you know who that is?
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson is now a Denver Bronco, and a lot of people really like. He's a very popular player and a good player, but he can change your offense in a hurry.
And did Peyton Manning change that?
That's right, sure
when he
did.
went over there?
Sure did. And then Manning played with
DeMarcus.
Manning played with Indianapolis, and Manning played with the Denver Broncos in his career.
You look at it, in 2 weeks, college football starts.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah. Let me tell you something.
Starts on the 27th.
Yeah. Let me mention that the Tams, be young, be happy.
Be young,
be foolish, be happy.
Yeah, be young, be foolish, be happy. The fabulous Tams will be in Ozark tomorrow night, Friday night, August the 12th, from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I've got tickets right now. I am giving away to that concert, and it's at the Ozark Civic Center. Just a few, I'd say 30 minutes from Troy, and should be a wonderful time. And then on Saturday, they've got some real good local bands, and then highlighted by a band called K-Jams, a original 50s and 60s band, and there'll be a lot of fun in downtown Ozark and also at the Ozark Civic Center. Of course,
you and Will Matthews gonna be hanging out.
Yeah, Will Matthews, won't you please come home?
Y'all probably have to bring y'all Sharpies. Y'all probably be signing a lot.
We'll be signing. Yeah, we'll be. I'm gonna be across the arena from Will. Will's gonna be doing autographs over here, so you want to get it. Let me tell you about Will.
Did Dad ever tell you the funny story? Forrest, when he was high cap spy advisor at Troy University for several years, all the plunges would have to go and I guess get Dad to sign. What did they have to sign, Dad? Their pledge book?
Yeah. They had to sign their. I would have to sign their pledge book.
Yeah, so they all of a sudden find Dad one day at a gas station somewhere on 231, and it's like several kids, like 20, 30 people run up to him at a gas station, and he starts signing their book, and all these random people think Dad's a big celebrity.
Yeah.
Dad had like people come up to him at the gas station with his autograph.
Yeah, that's right. They thought I was a movie star. I was a movie star. Yes, sir, Ray.
Oh, I found a baseball in our garden at Platinum Arts. We have a garden that we started.
Yeah,
And I found a baseball back there one day. I guess it was a foul ball that came off the field. So it was nice and clean, and so I put it in my pocket. And I was going to meet a good friend for lunch at the Half Shell. Jennifer Lindsay and Duncan Lindsay and their children were in there. Luke was in there. Luke's about 8 years old. So I brought that baseball in, had it in my pocket. So I took it out and signed it, and he was just about 6 feet from me, and I said, "Here." I tossed it to him, and I was giving it to him. He didn't realize that. He looked at it, and I kind of turned my head. He threw it back, like to knock my tea glass.
We're going to take a short break. This show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks. Let me tell you this, nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
These teenage years can be tricky to navigate, especially when it comes to teaching my son about managing money. I'm thankful for helpful tools like Sidekick from Max. With Sidekick, requesting and rewarding money is easy. He can earn it by completing chores, making honor roll, or simply making a request from his own app. I love that I can easily monitor his purchases and set limits to help him learn to make smart choices with his spending, even on video games. Sidekick. Find it in your Max app.
In the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service, That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them. Protect them.
Our wide selection of pre-owned vehicles looks so good, you'll think they're new.
So take the short drive to Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Ford, Troy, Alabama.
Very fast. Back to our show, brought to you by the Alabama Real Estate Connection and Carol Amos. See her today. And of course, we mentioned P.S. Falk Furniture. Andy Falk's been with our show all the way, and we appreciate him very much. And that is a wonderful, wonderful furniture store located on the bypass in Enterprise, Alabama. And talking about Enterprise, I'm very close to the Enterprise program, Mike. Tell us about them. And let me tell you, I think there's a new sheriff in town that you're going to see a big, big difference in Enterprise football.
Well, I mean, they've been competitive over the last few years. It's just they couldn't really get over the hump. But Ben Blackman, proven commodity head coach, won a state championship for Transport. Then you got Chuck Gunn. Everybody knows Chuck from Troy. Great defense coordinator when he was at Charles Anderson High School. And coached college ball at UAB, South Alabama, Jackson State. I mean, Chuck, has been in Arrington, helped Arrington, rebuild their football program. Coach Goodfried, and Cole Weeks was the, running back, offensive quarterback coach there with the Troy under Lindsay the last 3 years. I'm sure
Tony Stonecker, he's
more
with
names,
him.
of people we know.
Tony Stonecker, he's
Yeah.
been with him for a long time down south.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you this is probably some of the finest football played in the nation in high school football, and I'm sure you'll argue with me. It's played in Mobile area. There's so many good teams in Mobile, and he has been excellent, coach at in that area. And of course, he's a very very good friend of ours, Mike. And of course, we go all the way back when he. Let me just say this: he had a restaurant. He and his daddy had a restaurant in Troy on the bypass. That it was open maybe 1 year, maybe even 2 years. But after that, it became the Half Shell. I want you to know that their restaurant is now, at one time, what was the name of that restaurant, Mike?
It was a wings place, but no, the original Half Shell
Johnny Lever,
in that restaurant.
No.
Half Shell was there first, and then the Half Shell moved to their new location.
That's right, but it did derive from this restaurant.
They came after the Half Shell.
Yeah.
The original Half Shell had the two twin brother bartenders, and it was right there on 231 bypass near Wendy's. And that location then became a wings place that the Blackmans owned.
Yeah.
And then after that, Tim Faison, I guess, had a wings place there too.
Yeah. But a lot of it, the Half Shell originated from all of that. To me, from what I think.
Oh, Johnny Lever started that.
No, he did not start the Half Shell. He came later on.
The Half Shell was on 231 though, in that building.
That's right. That's what happened. Yeah. And of course, like you said, those two twins worked there for a long time.
Well, it's tough news for Christopher Allen, the former Alabama player that hurt his leg, broke his ankle last year in the first game against Miami. He was trying to make the Denver Broncos roster at linebacker, and he's already on injury reserve again for that same injury. So I get news for him trying to recover and play and make an NFL career. Sad to hear come back from, but
Oh, yeah.
he's having a hard time doing it.
You know, the Broncos about a week ago lost 2 players in the same practice to ACL tears.
Yeah. We're going to go to take a short break. We'll be right back to more of Today in L.A. on this Thursday, the, what day? The 11th day of August. We'll be right back. I'm going to go get something like that newspaper. You didn't get newspapers, Joe, did you? Let's see what it has.
Pretty good. Did Allen define after the draft the Broncos?
Y'all get started.
$20,000 signing bonus and a guaranteed $150,000 contract.
Who was that now?
That Allen as a free agent. Allen will receive $430,000 salary on injured reserve.
Wow.
Wow, that's pretty impressive that he got that as a free agent. They must have thought pretty highly of him.
Can you imagine if he would have been healthy last year? I mean,
Oh,
I don't like poor and sour milk, but good gracious, you lose your 2 best receivers and your number 2, 3, 4 running back and some linemen, and I mean, it would have been, would have whooped them, I think. But,
yeah, there's no doubt if you'd have had Williams and Messi against Georgia, yeah, they would have won because they couldn't stop him.
so, and then now Michie, he's fighting cancer.
Yeah, I know. That's really tough. Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, they said as far as leukemia, what he has, it's the best, you know, percentage as far as recovery.
Your dad went to the truck to get his newspaper.
Yeah, I wonder why he went break to break.
I thought he was going to the bathroom. I didn't know because he just all of a sudden popped up. But are we still off, Mike? Maybe
That's
live.
for Steve. Is Steve back there?
We may be live. But anyway, if we're live, let me go ahead and say a few things.
Who's Steve? Is Steve back there?
Yeah, Steve is. Steve, did we go to break? Okay. Well, anyway, we may be live. So we'll talk about next week. Of course, we play Highland Home and Pike Liberal Arts plays tomorrow night, Ayrton and Brantley. But next week on the 18th, to start the season, Ott will be at Andalusia. That'll be a big game. Then on the 19th, the jamborees that we have scheduled for next Friday night, Charles Henderson will play Pike County High School in their annual event. That's Coach Hambright versus the new coach, his name's, I don't have it right in front of me. The new head coach at Pike County High. Is it Hurd? But,
Hurd, I believe.
Yeah, Hurd. They got about 65 players out. Then next week, a jamboree, Highland Home at Providence Christian. So Highland Home, I think, gets 2 jamborees. Then to start the season on Friday night of next week, Elba at New Brockton in a big game. Daleville at Goshen. Brantley at Luverne next Friday night. Your dad's locked out. And
I mean, is anybody in the back?
I don't know. I think I'm going to have to come off the set to go open up the door. Excuse me. Pardon me. Coming. We still may be live.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
What's he doing?
Set up.
He's the head coach at Oz.
We're back on the
Back
air.
to our show, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we had a short break, and we're back here in our studios on South Frontage Street, Troy, Alabama. And I hope you folks watching us on Facebook today are enjoying our show. We talk back and forth and have fun. And
What was you saying about Mike DeBose, Michael?
I was reading an article about Oz. DeBose became the head coach last year. You know, he was I guess, last minute a guy ended up leaving, and he became the head coach. He was defense coordinator, but went 9-3 last year, got beat in the third round of playoffs. But he was talking about his roster coming back and saying that he felt like they'd be really good again this year. And then he said his 9th and 10th grade classes are going to be real good. So,
look out, yeah.
How long he decides to keep on coaching. Mike DeBose is probably what, late 60s then?
I would say that. I would say,
They open up at Andalusia next Thursday night to start the season. I'll look it up real quick. But
he said he had 2 different defensive ends outside linebackers on that roster that were 6'4", 230 pounds. That's pretty big for Oz.
well, and I tell you what, he can coach them too. He was let me say this. He wasn't a good linebacker at Alabama. He was a great linebacker at Alabama. And I've said so many times on this show, he was the best high school linebacker I have ever seen, and I still say that.
he'll be 70 years old in January.
Isn't that amazing? And of course, a very good football coach, and all that does is just help out Alabama have a good program every year.
Alabama, he was there from 2015 to 2017, then left. Was there from 2019 to 2020, and now he's there back at, he's been there since 2019, this last stint.
Yeah. Well, Alabama and Auburn are trying to shore up their offensive lines, and I reckon you really don't win unless you can win the game up front, and that's where your offensive line comes in. And Carroll High of Ozark, I want to mention to them that they were are look to have a much better season this season, and I know people are excited about that.
Coach Plot's a good coach. I mean, he won a state championship in Pickens County several years ago. I mean, I watched Ozark play Charles Henderson last year. I felt like they had a really good quarterback, and I mean, they blew out Charles Henderson when I watched it last year.
Yeah, that sure did. Before he came to Carroll High School, he's coached 6 years as an assistant at Auburn High School, and then also is a native of Carrollton, Georgia, and he had was the head coach of 86 and 27 record, like you said, at Pickens County, and that's good football up there, buddy. I promise you. And taking a look at some other things going on, the Braves still they still have that many more games. The baseball season still has a lot to go.
Boston Red Sox 2 games.
Yeah, they brought up this rookie phenom, this Grisham kid, 21 years old, AA, and the guy's been putting up huge numbers. And all he does in his first game is get 2 hits, goes 2 for 4, hits his first home run over the green monster.
Oh boy!
Wow.
Golly, at Fenway Park.
Judge, Aaron Judge is at 45.
Parents were there to watch it too.
Wow. Aaron Judge, he hit another one. He has 45 now. He's on pace to get about 63 to break Roger Maris.
Yankees are struggling though, man. They've really have come back to earth. They've been getting swept and beating a lot of series lately. So I don't know what's happened to them.
The Dodgers and the Mets are rolling.
Yeah.
The Braves are going to have a hard time catching the Mets. I mean, it looks like the Braves will probably be the wild card.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right.
Does that work? How does that work? The top 2 teams get a bye, and then you have the next 4.
Yeah, you have the wild card play-in games.
Okay.
To determine the wild card is the way it works. Which is really, really awful. You can win 98 games and play 1 game and not even make the playoffs. That 1 game can determine if you make it or not.
Yeah. Well, if you want to see the Braves, and everybody says it's a beautiful, beautiful place, the next, from the 15th, August 15th through the 21st, the Braves are at home with the Mets and the Astros, and that's a good home stand there. Their next home stand in August starts on August the 30th and runs all the way to September the 4th to watch the Braves at home with the Rockies and the Marlins. So still a lot of opportunities. It's really like getting in the car and going over and catching a Brave game and driving back home. If you can beat the traffic going south, you or southeast on 85, you'll make good time. Mike, I was looking here about Luke Tucker, is the head coach at Dale County High School, and his team was 4-6 last year. But look out for Luke Tucker. That is one of the great high school coaching families in the country, in the state of Alabama. The Tuckers because his daddy, Walden Tucker, was a great quarterback at Livingston during some of the heydays at Livingston, and was a high school football coach. And at one time, he led the whole state in wins. And I don't know if he still holds those records or not, but he's a great one.
I think Buddy Anderson is still the all-time winner.
Buddy Anderson, got his start under a young coach named Larry Bladeney, and and now, like you said, holds the record for most wins. I think he retired though, didn't he?
Yeah, he retired 2 years ago.
And we've got a
list of the top 50 players, either transfer or freshmen or junior college newcomers to college football. This is in the country. The top transfer, they say, newcomer on a new roster is Caleb Williams, transfer from USC from Oklahoma. So he's
the quarterback,
Raleigh to Southern Cal. Of course, he beat out Spencer Rattler last year. And, Rattler is now at South Carolina. After that, USC has the number 2 transfer, Jordan Addison. All he did was win the Biletnikoff as the top receiver in the country last year. Listen to these numbers last year. He had 1,600 yards receiving and 17 touchdowns at Pittsburgh.
And he's going to Southern Cal.
He's at Southern Cal, yeah.
Yeah, they're
and
the
then
sleeper.
Troy will face this kid in the opening game. Jackson Dart is the third best transfer newcomer on the ESPN Top 50. He's transferred to Ole Miss from University of Southern Cal. Ole Miss needed a quarterback since last year's starter Matt Corral is now in the NFL. Dart broke the high school record in Utah as a recruit, throwing for 5,000 yards, 67 touchdowns his senior season.
Wait a minute now. This is
Ole Miss.
going to be the quarterback at Ole Miss. We've got a guy coming to Troy from Utah, don't we?
This kid played high school ball in Utah.
Oh, okay, I got you. So that's where he came from, and and Troy's.
He was named Gatorade Player of the Year when he found USC. Threw for 1,400 yards and 9 touchdowns last season at USC. He beat out the starter midway through the season.
And now he's at Ole Miss.
Yeah, so that should be Ole Miss quarterback. Then number 4, top transfer, newcomer. We all know this guy, Dylan Gabriel, transferred from Central Florida, where he was playing under Malzahn last year. He is now the starting quarterback at Oklahoma.
All right, and just went in there and just took him from Central Florida and just walked out of there. Is that right?
In 2009 and 2020, Gabriel threw for a combined 7,200 yards, 61 touchdowns.
God.
11 interceptions.
And that's what this doggone thing will do. The portal will do. He was evidently he was on the portal, and they Oklahoma got him. Is that right?
Yeah. Then the number 5 top transfer newcomer is Eli Ricks, Alabama. Defensive back, transferred in from LSU. He was a freshman All-American at LSU. As a sophomore last year, Ricks had season-ending shoulder surgery and did not play. So Alabama has the number 5 transfer in Ricks. Also a number 5 transfer is defensive back Brandon Joseph, transferred to Notre Dame from Northwestern. So Northwestern kid is now at Notre Dame. Great defensive back. Nebraska's in the list, transferred to Nebraska from TCU. Con Mathis, defensive end from Texas Christian, had 32 tackles for loss over the last 2 seasons at TCU. Will Anderson alone last year had, 50 tackles for loss in one
Oh
season?
man, yeah.
And then also Ole Miss, we talked about this, but Troy will face this kid. Zach Evans is a top running back transfer to Ole Miss from TCU.
Wow.
Former five-star running back in the 2020 class, had 700 yards rushing last year for TCU, so now he'll be at Ole Miss as well. Number 9 is the guy everybody in Tuscaloosa is talking about, Jamar Gibbs, transferred from Georgia Tech, had 800 yards rushing last year and 500 yards receiving last year at Georgia Tech.
He's a real deal, isn't he?
Yeah, he'll be battling for the starting spot. The top 10 prospect from the portal is Spencer Rattler, South Carolina, new quarterback that transferred in from Oklahoma. Rattler threw for 3,031 yards, 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Playing about a half a year when you said that.
Well, in 2020 he did that. Last year he threw for 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So big time pickup by South Carolina.
I always say a great quarterback makes all the difference in the world, and that in this case, South Carolina goes from a mediocre team to a potential, real outstanding.
It's a difference to maybe win 8 or 9 games.
That's right, exactly right.
Then we talk about Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley also brought another receiver, USC Mario Williams. It's the 11th pick. Jermaine Burton, who left Georgia last year on the national championship team with Georgia's lead receivers, now at Alabama. He's number 12. And the list just goes on and on and on.
Where's that lineman? What about the lineman Alabama got from Vanderbilt? Is he? Think he'll crack the line up?
I have to look and see.
Talking about South Carolina and Rattler, they opened up home versus Georgia State, and then they travel to Arkansas, then they host Georgia their first 3 games. So we'll know about Rattler. Well, Georgia State may be tough. At Arkansas, and then home versus Georgia, their first 3 games for South Carolina. And
we talk about this portal, and don't get me wrong. If it benefits my team, I'm all for it. I will say this: that Troy, in the late fall, right before the school ended, this last term, they went out there and got 5 kids off the portal that are most all of them are junior college offensive linemen.
And they've already played college football.
And you're exactly right. And so you take that experience that they get from those kids coming in, and then we had 2 or 3 outstanding linemen coming back at Troy. Troy is gonna have around 8 to 10 good experienced linemen. So that's a big plus right there. And then the defensive part of it, the same way, a lot of depth in defense on defense. Up front, Troy looks pretty tough.
Let me give you a curveball question, Mr. Mike. The former Washington State head football coach, Nick Rolovich, has filed a $25
million
wrongful termination, $25 million lawsuit that he was fired last year for refusing to get vaccinated against COVID-19. That's going to be
interesting
to see how that comes out to play.
Because there are a lot of people.
It's going to be one of those type things, that just, destroy his career, because he was an up-and-coming coach. He left Hawaii, where he rebuilt Hawaii, and then took the Washington State job, and Washington State was not too bad.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah, he's Catholic. As part of this, what I'm reading, he was denied a religious exemption from the governor, Jay Isley.
Oh, wow.
That state employees had to get vaccinated. And, it never really came out about Coach Harsin, and I feel like it's a personal choice. And you ask me if I get it or not, well, that's still my business, not your business. It's called HIPAA. I have to tell you, but if it's based on my employment, it's going to be a big argument.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, you notice this year, it's not even a conversation. I mean, you have not heard one thing about COVID as far as the upcoming football season in high school or college, from what I can tell.
Well, it's going around, but is around.
down here. My wife has two people in her office that have been out over a week because every single time they test it, they can't get rid of it. It's like it's lasting longer now than ever. Hard to get your system.
Want to mention that former Auburn quarterback Jared Stidham is looking pretty good with the Raiders. He's the backup now, and so if somebody if the Raiders quarterback goes down, the quarterback comes up with Jared Stidham as the backup. So
Jared Stidham had his best year in college football under the great Chip Lindsey at Auburn, his junior year.
Under Chip Lindsey, you're right.
You know, it's one of those things where Stidham got in with the Patriots and just never saw the field. And then, of course, when they drafted Mac Jones, you know, that's the rest of the history there. He probably won't see the field in Oakland, or not Oakland, but Las Vegas. Carr's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
Where did he play his college ball, David Carr?
Played at Fresno State.
Fresno State. You know,
Fresno State had a really good quarterback last year on the east side.
yeah. Of course, I wanted to mention a couple of things about Carroll High School of Ozark. They actually play Charles Henderson of Troy on September the 8th. Listen to this now. September the 8th, Steve, this will be a good one to do. Charles Henderson and Carroll High. Carroll High at Charles Henderson on a Thursday night, September 8th. So that's a good Thursday night game right there.
Must be a situation where Troy plays on that Saturday, I guess.
Exactly. They do play. They play Alabama A&M on that Saturday. So it does give them a couple of days to get ready on that in that situation. And
I wish Troy and Brent Jones and the new AD could like do a football kickoff classic with UAB and the new Protective Life Stadium up in Birmingham in downtown. That new stadium holds 45,000 people. That'd be a great place to start playing UAB.
And you know something about UAB, and of course with their and I promise you, I'm gonna get a phone conversation with Brian Benson, the head coach at UAB, and I'll tell you this: UAB is really off and running with this new stadium, the big city lights, and a lot of kids will want to go to UAB. I really believe it.
They open up versus Alabama A&M, then they play at Liberty, this is UAB, host Georgia Southern, at Rice, host Middle Tennessee, then they host Charlotte, then they go to Western Kentucky, Florida Atlantic University, then they host University of Texas San Antonio, they host North Texas, then UAB on the 19th day of November, they travel to Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
To play LSU.
LSU, you're right.
Region.
Let's go over that again. Let's figure out what Brian Vincent's record could be.
Yeah,
let's say Alabama A&M win.
At Liberty.
Lost.
They got blown out by Liberty at home last year. Georgia Southern in Birmingham. Boy, that could be a tough game, but I'll say beat Georgia Southern.
Yeah, I think so too. Win.
At Rice.
Win.
Middle Tennessee.
Middle Tennessee for home.
Win.
I'll say win. Charlotte at home as well. I'll say win.
Yeah. Okay.
Western Kentucky on the road. I'll say
Loss. I'm gonna take a loss.
Yeah. Troy's got to go play out Western Kentucky on the road too.
Yeah.
At Florida Atlantic.
Win.
Yeah, I'll say they could beat Florida Atlantic. Texas San Antonio at home. I'm gonna say loss.
Loss. Okay.
North Texas at home. I'm gonna say win.
Win. Yes, sir.
LSU
Loss.
on the road, loss, and then Louisiana Tech in Ruston. Austin, they always have a hard time losing. In fact, I'm going to say loss.
I won't say they're going to win. I won't say they're going to win.
I got them going 8-4.
I've got them going 9-4. I got them going 9-4.
It would be 9-4, it'd be 9-3.
Wait a minute. They lost the first one, second one.
12 games.
Those four. You're right.
What do you
8
got?
8 and 4. 8 and 4.
Hey, about like you. Yeah.
Yeah, if he goes 8-4, 9-3, I don't know how he would be given the head coach a job.
I hope he keeps it. I think he as good as Carr was. I think
Clark.
I mean, Clark, what I say? Clark, well, as good as Clark was, this Brian Benson adds even a more fired up good coach.
In that same Conference USA, Western Kentucky, let me just read their schedule real quick. Austin Peay at Hawaii. Then on the 17th at Indiana.
Wow.
Then Florida Atlantic at home. Troy at home. University of Texas San Antonio at Middle Tennessee. Host UAB. Host North Texas. At Charlotte. Home versus Rice. At Auburn. And then at Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
This is Western Kentucky, so they play Auburn, Indiana, and Hawaii for 3 big games
Yeah.
that they'll play this year.
Uh-huh.
And all those are away. I wonder what their payroll will be. But Kent State, they're playing Washington, Oklahoma, and Georgia. Their first 3 of their 4 games. I read where they're going to get $5.2 million for playing at Washington, at Oklahoma, and at Georgia.
Oh boy.
5.2.
We could use that 5.2 at Troy, but it's going to be fun. This 6-game home schedule is going to be a good one, and so just think how much fun you can have. You can go ahead and buy your season tickets, and you can go out and tailgate and hear the sound of the South there at tailgate area. They're located on the tailgate areas. And you can walk up almost right to them and hear that beautiful sound and the cheerleaders, colorful cheerleaders. Then they have the Trojan Walk that comes, and it's a huge walk where all the players come in together and the fans get to greet them and a long walk to the stadium. And that's a traditional thing at Troy. And what I'm saying, pageantry galore for your whole family. It's amazing how cheap you can buy these tickets and enjoy college football every Saturday from Veterans Memorial Stadium right here in Troy. Troy University, Division 1A college football.
I was going to say what the Ole Miss Troy tickets are now.
I don't know. It was $35 to begin with. I don't know what it is earlier. And I don't know if they've sent back their tickets or not, but it's $35 for and it surprises me how cheap it is. Alabama and most Alabama tickets going to be right at $100, I believe.
I'm looking at the Troy Ole Miss Rebels, $7
$7
on Vivid Seats. You buy it for $7.
Troy game.
You're probably high up, but
Yeah.
$7
Oh yeah,
to go to a
major
big-time ball
that
game.
big time ball game, and it's
$7.
going to be located in Oxford, Mississippi, which is
That's
not.
all in the West End.
Give us a route, or a road route there. A lot of people are telling me they're going to stay in Tupelo and drive over. See what kind of which highways you'll take. I want to say
You just get on 65 and get on that new 222 corridor.
That's right, right there, Jasper.
I'll take you straight to Tupelo, and then when you get to Tupelo, you basically you're about 45, 50 minutes away.
Yeah, Jasper is one of the places that you'll go through in Alabama, and like you said, you get on the interstate at Jasper.
It's about a 5-hour trip.
And, Jasper and Winfield,
Yeah.
Hamilton, all that.
Hey, how about a 5-hour trip? Not a bad trip. You could drive over there and come back. You know.
You're right. I-22.
And you know something too, Mike.
That is a great interstate. It's brand spanking new, pristine.
Yes, sir. And you're right out of Birmingham. You 4-lane to Birmingham, then you 4-lane to Memphis, but you get off at Oxford exit, and you're there. And you know, it's considered the yuppie school in the country, Mike. You hear it all the time. I'm going to Ole Miss. I'm going to Ole Miss. Kids from Troy, from Birmingham, from Montgomery. Oh, I'm going to Ole Miss. It's all a traditional, you know, great atmosphere to go to a football game.
Can you imagine the electricity if Troy rolls in over there and beats them like
That's right.
21-17?
And I'm going to tell you this. I've got a feeling that this is going to be a good Troy University football team. I really do. Now, Mike, they're talking about quarterback, and right now it looks like from just where I look at it, and we'll have a big scrimmage on Saturday, and we'll find out a lot about our young quarterbacks then. But right now, I don't see a lot of changes other than the top three, with one being with Tucker Kilcrease being the third quarterback. What do you think? Well, we lost him, yeah.
Go take somebody
Yeah.
to school, but
And of course, I know that's a young freshman, but he is going to be a good one. I got a feeling.
Mike, you want to mention about Mr. Pete Farrer?
Yeah,
his
do.
service?
Yes, do.
His
Very
service
important.
is today at 2 o'clock. Mr. Pete was 91. The service will be at 2 o'clock at the Chapel of Dillard Funeral Home in Troy, Alabama. Visitation is 1 hour before the ceremony, but 2 o'clock today at the Chapel of Dillard Funeral Home. Services for Carrie Lee, Mr. Pete Farrer.
Let me tell you this. He was a great math teacher. And when you went into his class, the first thing, he never used a brush. He always did the chalkboard with his hands. He would have chalk all over it, but that's where he did it. And in the left-hand corner, the top left-hand corner, he said, I want you to, and he wrote it on the board. He said, think. That was Pete Farrer. Think. And you put it in the left-hand corner of your, that's probably the only thing I got right. I put think in the left-hand corner of my test grade. And, you know, THINK, think, was a big thing about his, and he was a great math teacher and a great administrator and a recreation director. You know, he did that all on the side and did a great job. I told y'all about, you know, growing up and watching him put those face guards on those helmets, and he said, we're gonna have a great league, and sure we did. Knox Street, Murphy Park, Brundage Street, and College Street. Those were the four teams in that Pee Wee League.
Also want to mention Miss Linda Dunn Floyd passed away. Her funeral will be this Saturday, August the 13th at Dillard Funeral Home. It'll be at First Baptist Church at 11 o'clock this Saturday. Miss Linda Dunn Floyd. She was a resident of Troy, 79 years old, and she survived by her husband, Robert Floyd. But anyway, just want to mention those two. And Rick Stetson's service
tell us about it tomorrow. Now, tell us the time on that if you know.
Rick Stetson, longtime Troy University employee in Charles Henson High School.
Born to the Trojans for a long time.
WTBF, all that. Rick's visitation and ceremony will be tomorrow at Leak Memory Chapel in Montgomery, which is Friday, August the 12th at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
Tomorrow at Leak Memory Chapel in Montgomery at 10 o'clock. And later on, the family will have a private ceremony at the Alabama National Cemetery in Montevallo, Alabama.
My dear friend Rick, I'll be there, buddy, to send you off. I will be there for you tomorrow. And, of course, a great friend and a great Trojan. Boy, he loved Troy, and that voice, Ralph Black's had a great voice, and there's been a lot of good voices out there, but none any better than Rick Stetson. And he did the morning shows, and he got involved in a lot of things, and he and Ralph were quite a pair for a long time. And of course, Pete Fair, I'll be there for you today too, my friend. One of my great friends, and one of the great Trojan people that nurtured our kids growing up, and I was one of them. And I always loved Pete Fair.
Anyway, good luck to Post 70 today. They will take on Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, the American Legion team from Massachusetts. That will be at 1 o'clock at Keeter Stadium in Shelby, North Carolina.
All right.
Go to the American Legion baseball. Put that link in your computer, Google it, and it will pop up today's games, and then you can watch it live stats. Not there's a way to watch it live as well. It's going to be on ESPN Plus, but research all that. Good luck to Ross Hickson and the boys from this part of Alabama.
Yes, sir. And of course, Dan Smith, you win so many times over and over again. Dan Smith, our recreation director, and I'll tell you what, Dan, I know if you're watching today, you know all about what Pete Fair did with so little for recreation in Troy, Alabama. One thing about it, he had that big city pool open every day during the summers, and ladies and gentlemen, they would change out that water every Wednesday and then every Sunday, or at Murphy Park, and that water was ice cold. Even in 90-degree temperature, it was ice cold, and everybody in Troy, anybody, that's where he congregated at the city pool. Where is your son? Oh, he's down in the city pool or whatever. And they had the diving board, and they had the high tower. I can remember so many kids climbing that high tower. They got up there and got cold feet, wouldn't come down, and they'd go to the corner of the high tower, and the lifeguards would be trying to get them to come down. They were brave enough to climb up, but they weren't brave enough to jump off the high tower.
Yes. Again, Pike Liberal Arts will have come meet the Patriots tonight, starting at 6:30, introducing all of their teams. This Saturday is come meet the Trojans, Charles Henderson. They're going to introduce their football players, middle and high school, around 7 o'clock. They're going to scrimmage, and then at halftime, they'll introduce the band, the volleyball team, the cheerleaders, the cross-country team.
So they are going to scrimmage a little bit tonight?
They're going to scrimmage. That's Saturday night.
Oh, Saturday night, yeah. We're talking about Charles Henderson. Yeah, okay.
Charles Henderson. There'll be a $5 admission, and that's a fundraiser for the athletic programs at the middle school and the high school.
Now, did you say there'd be food out there? Will there be food?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This is Saturday at Veterans Stadium. And then tonight at Pike Liberal Arts, they're encouraging people to bring their tents, cook out, and all that.
Now, is there going to be free food?
Well, you probably
hey, can I have a hamburger?
Probably could do something like that. But,
I'll tell you something, and I know you've learned from this already. Some of the best food in this football country came out of the concession stand at Pike Liberal Arts School. Boy, the food's always been delicious. Same way at Goshen, the food's always been delicious.
If I go to a high school ball game, I want a hamburger plain. I don't want nothing on it.
Oh, really?
Because it's usually seasoned.
Yeah.
I want to eat something at the ball game.
Yeah. And
you can do it.
Exactly.
Tomorrow night in Highland Home, as Pike Liberal travels
I'm sure they would.
Ayrton travels.
Mike, are you still here?
He went off. Probably.
Look. Somebody told me that about that restaurant over there. What's the restaurant over there?
It don't matter.
It don't matter. And Mike, so where are we going to eat once we get over to Highland Home? It don't matter. I'm not being silly. It don't matter. The restaurants, it don't matter, and it's delicious food, and you'll enjoy it.
You probably swing up to Red Schoolhouse.
Yeah, exactly right. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early for Today in L.A. Have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow. And look forward to it. All right.
Let's power today. To understand where your electricity comes from, you have to look deeper than your wall socket.